countrymen and countrywomen, greetings and congratulations to all of you for safely finishing the year 2025. Mama Janet and myself wish everybody a prosperous 2026 and beyond. I'm happy to report to all Ugandans and the world that as we stand today, our economy is robust. The majority of the population are very happy, as you have been seeing the massive and extremely happy rallies I have been addressing. The country is peaceful, and our armed forces are at their strongest. Some of the obstacles created by some unpatriotic elements notwithstanding. By June 2026, the size of the economy will be US dollars 68.4 billion by the foreign exchange method, and US dollars 194.2 billion by the purchasing parity method, purchasing power parity method. The GDP per capita will be US dollars 1,399, meaning that Uganda is now firmly in the lower middle income status and out of the least developed countries status. All this is compared to US dollars 3.92 billion by 1986. In other words, the economy has grown 13 times in size since 1986. In quantitative terms, you can go item by item. Coffee exports were 3,060,000 kilogram bags in 1986, and they are now 8.2 million 60 kilograms bags. Bananas, 6.6 million metric tons, and now 11 million metric tons. Maize production was 322,000 metric tons, but now it is 4 million metric tons. Milk was 200 million liters, but now it is 5.4 billion liters. Sugar was less than 100,000 metric tons, but now it's about 700,000 metric tons. Cement was 76,000 metric tons. It is now 7 million metric tons. Steel products were 50,000 metric tons, but they are now 630,000 metric tons. From almost no tourist arrivals to now about 1.6 million tourists arriving in a year. From less than 1,000 hotel beds to now about 150,000 hotel beds, etc. As I've told you before, our economy has now gone through 5 phases. And these are the minimum recovery phase, the expansion of the small recovered colonial and neo-colonial economy phase, diversification of that economy by converting more products into cash products, value addition to some of the raw materials, and finally entering the knowledge economy of making computers and vehicles and so on. We have even entered a new phase when our export earnings for goods and services are exceeding our import bill of US dollars 11.03 billion. The export earnings are US dollars 13.4 billion. This means we have got more than $2 billion surplus on the account. Our exports earnings are more than our import bill. Yes, we still have poor people. We still have unemployed graduates. We still have some bad roads because of under-budgeting for them and corruption. However, all these will be solved. Why? It is because we have already moved 70% of the homesteads into the money economy. Yet, by 2013, only 32% of the homesteads were in the money economy. A whole 68% were still abakorera ekida kyonka, teach, me each keken, working only for the stomach. At independence in 1962, only 9% of the households were in the money economy. By 1960, in our sub-county of Ntungamo, with its 8 parishes of Nyaburuza, Chikoni, Chiora, Kahunga, Musana, Nyarware, Murisa Rwenkote, and Watete's parish, I was not aware of any family that had entered the money economy other than the 6 Indian and Arab shops at the Ntungamo Trading Center and the limping small shops of Misi at Musana, Boatete on the way to Nyartuntu, and Tinkasimire at Ntera. Therefore, seeing that 70% of the families are in the money economy now is a qualitatively new phenomenon for Uganda. Apart from peace, economic and social infrastructure, what is crucial for the masses are the personal issues of poverty, education for the children, health, and jobs. NRM has for a long time designed solutions for these mass issues. Nobody who is sincere can say that the NRM has ever overlooked or has never identified and provided for these issues. Right from 1997, the NRM provided for both UPE and Ntandikwa. We then added NADS, Operation Wealth Creation, Emioga, the Youth Fund, the Women Fund, Universal Secondary Education, etc. Targeting what? Targeting poverty and free education for the children of the poor. However, just like the Jews did not believe that Jesus was the Messiah, some groups are always not bothering to understand or use these solutions. Those who listened are doing very well. You need examples? Here are some. These are Rashida of Butambara, Apio of Lira, of the Lira area, Ogira of Abim.
Amanya gange yenze Namubiru Rashida omutuuze w'ekyalo Kasaka District Butambala Gombe Town Council. Nze omu ku baasookera ddala okuganyulwa mu ssente za PDM mu sako yaffe baali bagiyita Kasaka Enterprise Group Gotleyaling. Kakati ssente nazifuna ku simu message yajja nga nfunye 1 million. Kati nensanyuka nnyo ne ngamba yiri yaddala bino ne nkubira ku chairman wa PDM. Chairman n'angamba byaddala mzee abawadde ssente. Nenziruka ku Centenary Bank nenzijjako nenfuna 9,914. Kakati nenkomawo ewaka nensooka nenkola research wewali embuzi ennungi. Ne bandagirirayo ekyalo bakiyita Mabanda kiri mu Kibibi Town Council. Nengenda nengula embuzi 3, embuzi 3 nazigula $25,25 gye $75,000. Nengulako n'ennume. Ennume yali ntototo kuba nalaba nga nja kugyetaaga mu maaso eyo. Ennume nenjigula $15,000. Nensigazaawo $9,914. Nensooka nenkubako ekiyumba ekiri temporary. Kakati bwe mmala okikubako ekiri temporary nembeera n'embuzi nezirunda. Katonda n'ayamba embuzi ne zazaala abaana 2. Kakati ozazaala abaana 2 nempeza embuzi 10. Kati olw'okuba nti embuzi zaali ziyaze nga nina obwetaavu bw'ekiyumba nentuulako embuzi 2 nazitunda $40,000 nenzimbako ekiyumba kino kye mulaba mwe zibeera kati. Kakati zino era nga bwe muziraba zino zonna embuzi 3 ziri mawako. Kati nsuubira ate ofunkulizinga ennamba esinga ate ku zino. Kakati mu mbuzi muno njijjamu maniwa n'atuyambako nze n'omwami wange ne tuteeka mu mmwanyi. Emmwanyi ne zinyirira era kati sizoni eno tubazizza nnyo emmwanyi. Sente ne zituyambako ku school fees z'abaana. Lwatandikawo n'olusuku we luli awo era nze n'omwami wange. Ng'era maniwa tumujja mu mbuzi ne tuteeka mu bitooke byaffe era ebitooke birungi nnyo tulina kati emmere esobola otumala n'abaana baffe. N'akamwanyi nako twakateekamu maniwa kakyukako era school fees z'abaana tezikyatumenya nnyo. Era ssebo taata tuli basiimu nnyo, tuli basiimu ddala, tweyanzizza nnyo tweyambe egi.
Anya PVK aburi wan tin man ma alingiri sel ti Banya ward ti Town Council Lira District.
Her name is Okw'Okuhendera, a resident of Alingiri Cell, Banya Ward, Amach Town Council in Lira District.
Agamo siya na PDM, yari pirwa adek.
She got the money for PDM in 2023.
Laha bong wen tutumia pira bero, eno senate don ya bank.
970,000 and then 30,000 remained in the bank.
Atabino puru karachel ke nyuagi.
She planted maize.
Awilo nyuagi sackets apara beach.
She bought maize 15 sackets.
Well met tutumia pira dek wiario.
30,000 each sacket.
Ate kela te puru por mergena deku dushu puru ekas a dek.
She used it, actually she planted it in the 3 acres of land.
Puru tutumia pira beach manula hachele nushu.
Preparing the garden cost her 150 for the 3 acres.
Ado tutumia pira beach.
Weeding cost her 50,000.
Akiru tutumia pira ngwen.
Then spraying cost her 40,000.
Tetunu doko ikwanyo kelo pashu.
Time for harvest came.
Atiyo karashel kerijo me pashu kerijo maruma.
She used the family members and then the neighbors.
What a wheel of deck match.
Then she bought lunch, food for the people for the family which cost her 20,000.
Transported her to Tumia beach.
And transporting it from the garden to home cost her 50,000.
After being a bit, and you are no caution at Oroconia.
She came and then she removed it from the cup.
Yagana Ramucha, Pierangana beach.
It gave her 45 sacks.
At a chat of Chow Pierang when no.
She sold 40 bags.
Atenungo milion ariyo kere laha boro.
And she got 2,800,000.
Kot me achiel te tumo ko.
That was the first season. That is our first plantation.
Ate wor ka epoko. Kwanyo milion achiel akero dong me pur.
Out of the 2.8, she decided to keep 1 million aside for farming again.
Kwanyo milion achiel awelo kere roma pa.
She used 1 million for buying ships, 10 of them.
Laha boro achwalo kere tina ariyo.
Then she used 800,000 for school fees.
Mano tegi kikano.
That is how he spent our first earning.
Ariyo piero wangwen.
In 2024,
Apuro nywage.
she planted maize again.
Amero eka sacheli kwa madek.
She added 1 hectare on the 3 to make 4 acres.
Ate pur da kitane na pur kere che pur kere titola chiel.
Then she used it because the total cost was the same as the first one.
Ate kwanyo da ate kelo ko pashu.
Then she brought it at home.
Ate nungo chao piero bij nono.
She got 50 sacks.
Ate poko de yegi ko itich.
She divided them, the sacks.
Kwanyo milion ariyo laha bero.
Out of the money she got, she removed 2.7.
Awelo kere plot.
She replaced 2.7 million and she used it to buy a plot of land.
Kwanyo milion achiel.
She again used she picked 1 million out of the money.
Akero ko e bank me pur me.
She has saved it in the bank waiting for the coming season.
Wiyo dong ate tedi chani.
The remaining balance.
Po wiyo chwalo pine school.
They topped the remaining balance and helped them to take back the children to school.
Atido kare chiel kere roma piero ariyo no ni chawani.
At the moment, out of the 10, she's now having 20 ships.
Amedo atia gwa kono mier bet piero ariyo wiye. Eno kene yigi obedo any. Ariyo ate chato.
It was supposed to be more than 20, but others got abortion, and then some were also not doing when she showed 2, which were not doing well.
Achara no kom gipe yota ber de chat laha cheli no laha cheli no laha ber.
They were not very healthy, so she sold it at 150 each, totaling to 300,000.
Mono bera PDM ama neno amokonya tutwala.
That is how PDM has benefited her.
Amita po PDM karashel kere teacher dushu. Mita po government me Uganda kuna kobonia po me chohoro chunmon dang yakina chenta me PDM Allah hokwa mona polo mi otino datia winya ba.
She once again want to thank the president and she want to thank his idea for bringing PDM that has helped very many women.
Dana kobonia duong chunyo yini mede karashel kere meda we dang tun bodjo okene chane.
Our appreciation is that President, His Excellency, should continue with the good heart.
Apoya.
Thank you.
I am Mr. Korea Dick Ogira. I am a model farmer in Abim district. My village here is called Arangetoy West. Arangetoy Parish, Abuk Town Council, Abim district in Karamoja. The mango trees you are seeing here were given to me by the president through Operation Wealth Creation. I received 200 mango seedlings and I planted all, and they are all doing well. Apart from this venture, I got money from PDM last year. I got 880,000. And I used 800,000 for buying 10 goats. And the goats are there. They have multiplied. They are now 16. Part of the money of PDM I used for buying cassava stems. Through that money, I've managed to plant 2 acres of cassava. They are now doing well. The first acre, I intend to harvest next year in January. Then for the mangoes, you are seeing, I started harvesting last year in 2023. The first harvest, I got 6 million. That was in June. Then second harvest in November, not September, November, I got another 6 million. So last year, from these mangoes, I got 12 million shillings. I've been selling to the people around. Actually, Soroti Fruit Factory has booked this mango. They want me to take these mangoes tomorrow, 2025, to the factory. Actually, I've been selling locally. I've been selling 1 at 500 shillings, 2 1,000. And people are buying. These mangoes are very good. The mangoes trees you are seeing here are giving me money, a lot of money. And I want to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Kaguta Museveni, for coming up with the idea of Operation Wealth Creation in the country. This is money. I am not going to suffer. My children will not suffer because of this wealth. I call it wealth now. I always harvest. I don't harvest mango. I harvest money, not mangoes. So I want to thank our president so much. And next year, if all goes well, I expect to get 18 million first harvest. And then second harvest, I also expect to get 18 million next year, 2025. So altogether, I expect to get 36 million shillings. And this money I will use for paying fees for my children. At the moment, I sleep in grass-thatched house because children are at school. The money I get, I use for paying fees. So if all goes well, I will use part of the money for constructing a nice house for my family and even paying fees for my children. And I want to request the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to continue teaching people, to continue mobilizing people to do this kind of activity I've done here. This is Karamoja. You may think Karamoja mangoes cannot do well in Karamoja. We are now in Karamoja and you can see the mangoes.
These are for the simple beginners under the PDM programs or Operation Wealth Creation. There are, however, big operators that started on their own, just responding to my message of wealth and jobs creation. These are Joseph Ijara of Serere, Karero of Gomba, Nyakano of Rengaju, Basango of Kamuri, etc., etc.
Hello, my name is Joseph Ijala. I am the proprietor of Taifa Farm, which is located in Serere in a place called Kakusi, where we are. And in Taifa we have dairy, poultry, and we're also making laundry bar soap. But we also have the value addition aspect of the farm, where we produce yogurt and pack it, tin it for the market. This project started 11 years ago after an inspiration from His Excellency, the President of Uganda, when he had come here and he was teaching people about the 4-acre model. He was having a rally in Soroti, and that time I was working as a taxi driver. I was doing that mass business in Soroti. So when I heard this, when I heard he was around, I crossed to go and listen to his story. And he was talking about a 4-acre model, how to improve household income. So when I came back, I was fired. because I delayed there and the cracks became full. And the guy said, you go and eat those words that you had. But I had already this land, 2.5 acres, but I also had local chicken here. But after hearing that, I got inspired to put more effort on raising this chicken. So I raised the chicken to the tune of about 100 of them. Then I got a small incubator. That was about 4 eggs. So I used that incubator for multiplying my local chicken farm. Eventually I was having 1,500 local chicken around, and I was very famous for local chicken. So but then local chicken were not answering my day-to-day needs. So I decided to translate it to layers. In Taifa farm we have 10,000 layers, which give me about 310 trays per day, and each tray goes at price of 10,500. So approximately about 3 million shillings a day from the eggs that we get. Of course, it varies depending on the cost of the feeding, but at least a half goes for management, a half goes to our pocket as Taifa. So after selling the layers, that money I invested it on dairy. I started dairy with the 4 cows, but you know I have multiplied very fast because I'm using AI. I have my own semen bank here, so I do artificial insemination, and then I also got a vet who was able to train some of us here with the veterinary knowledge. I think he's even here, that gentleman there is our vet. So the cows that I'm going to show you are cows that are bred from Taifa farm that produce, my highest produces 36 liters per day, and my lowest is at 20 right now, each cow. So 36, between 20 and 36 liters per day. And they all have names. I name them according to how I felt when I'm buying, when they are born. We name them according to relatives, aunties, friends.
Dairy party of section ya dairy farming. Tulundira ente ez'amata zinusu Bulaaya, abasinga ze tuyita nusu Bulaaya. President aludde nga asomesa eggwanga ku kulunda okw'ekibalo okw'ente ez'amata. Lwakuba nti ebintu ebimu tetubiwa budde oba n'okubiwuliriza, oba olumu ne tugamba mbu alimba ayisaawo bibye. Naye kati kambabuulire amazima. Bw'obanga ogenda olunda ente ey'amata, kyova gi dairy animal or dairy cow, ente y'amata, olina omanya bino eyina liita mmeka. Kubanga ente eno erya nga bwe tulaba mu nkoko, mu mbizzi, mu mmwanyi, n'ente eno erya. Buli bwerya ng'olina kifaananyi kya nte y'amata nga si nte y'amata, automatically ogenda kugwa. So omulunzi yandibadde afuna ente waakiri emuwa liita 25 okudda waggulu. Wano mu Uganda weziri, wano tulina n'ente eza liita 35 4. So bw'oba ogenda olunda ente z'amata, olulyo kikulu nnyo, olulyo. Ne bw'onoogiriisa byonna by'erina olya ng'olyo olukyamu, nga teri mmenti kuwa liita 25 tejja zikuwa oba 3. So ekyo ekibalo kikulu nnyo olulyo. So katunule ente.
My name is Nyakana Richard from Rwengaju. This village is called Rwengaju village in Karabarole, Fort Portal City. And where we are here is my home and it's my farm. The biggest landlord in this village of Rwengaju is having 7 acres. People are surviving on 1/4 acre, half an acre. 80% of the population here, they are on half an acre, they are on 1/4 acre. This farm and this home is seated on 1.25 acre. It is surveyed land. And 1 acre of land here, where we are here, is costing 80 million Uganda shillings. It is very expensive to buy land. Our farm is called Kana Farm. It is having 4 economic activities. Number 1, we are in zero grazing of dairy cows. Number 2, we are in poultry, majorly for layer birds. Number 3, we are in feed processing for livestock. And number 4, manure production. With the poultry, we have 8,500 chicken, and they are in a chick stage, grower and layer. Those which are laying are giving us 120 trays of eggs, which we are selling at 12,000 shillings per tray, which gives us 1,440,000, and the cost of production is 1,140,000, which gives us a net balance of 300,000 per day as profit. With the feed pressing plant, every day we are processing 1,000 kilos or 1 ton of feeds. We are selling these feeds at 1,850 per kilo, and the cost of production is 1,700. So on every kilo we are making 150 shillings times 1,000 kilo. That is 150,000 shillings per day as net balance of profit from the feeds processing plant. For the dairy zero grazing section, we have got 8 cows. Out of these, 6 are mothers now. The 6 mothers are giving us 120 liters of milk every day. We are selling our liter of milk at 1,000 shillings farm gate price, and which gives us 110,000 shillings per day. And the cost of feeding them is 50,000 shillings per day. That leaves us with a balance of 60,000 shillings per day as net profit. These are 8 cows. The 2 cows are heifers, but the beauty of it is these cows gives us, the mothers gives us, every cow gives a heifer or gives birth to a heifer every year. So with the 4th component is the waste, production of waste. We are generating a lot of waste from the poultry and the cows. After extracting the biogas, we are using the gas for cooking. After extracting that, we use the manure. First, the immediate neighbors are taking this manure. We are not selling this manure to the immediate neighbors. Those who have got banana plantations, we give them. We have connected the channel to them. But the balance of manure in excess of what they take, we sell 2 lorries per month, and each lorry is 300,000, and that comes with 600,000. So when we deduct the cost of ferrying and collection is 50,000, we remain with 550,000 per month after giving the neighbors. Milk is not going up. Every day it has been staggered for a long time. So what we did, I said, let's add value to this milk. So behind there you have seen at the farm we have planted strawberries. These are fresh strawberries which get ripe. We process them, we freeze them, we blend them into our milk, and we work on the yogurt. So we are producing yogurt here with fresh strawberries, and the taste is very, very good. And this milk, this yogurt, every 1 liter goes for 5,000. So instead of selling our milk at 1,000 on farm, we are looking at selling it at 5,000 after adding value, putting there strawberries, moreover fresh strawberries, not these chemicals you get. We are employing permanent 10 workers and then temporary 5 workers. In other words, we are able to sustain the families of 10 workers, of 10 people here. These are young men, you have seen them around. And also the lives of 5 temporary workers. So 15 people are employed by this farm, which is on 1.25 acres. We are selling our milk to the bread bakery here. There's a bread factory in town. We are selling our milk to some restaurants in town. We are selling our eggs to the bread bakery. We are selling our eggs to the supermarkets in town. We are selling our eggs to all these Rolex guys, the Chapats, the Midara people along. They come and take the eggs from here. We are providing market to the farmers who grow maize, because every season this farm is using 800 bags of 100 kilos of maize. We don't have land to grow that maize. We buy it from the farmers. So we also provide business to the farmers to buy maize. What you have seen these cows consuming, most of them we are not growing. We are buying the maize gardens, processed silage. We are buying the pachong. There are some farms who have got pachong napier. They sell to us. We buy and process into silage, but also give it as fresh. So we provide market for the farmers. We also provide market to the communities around with our products.
Nze Basangwa Johnson, Managing Director wa Jaka Poultry Farm. Jaka Poultry Farm eyaganibwa Bukwenge, Kamuli Municipality, Kamuli District. Mu 2007 twatandika obulunzi nga tutandikira mu Kamuli Town Council. By then mu plot yali 50 feet by 100 feet. Ezo futi 5 ku 10 eda itaka. Tutandika tutya twali nga tulina ebyobufuzi wano mu Kamuli nga waliwo ensonga nga chairman wero C5 omugenzi Kawuga bamwidukira Katonda mu ekyumulo eky'emirembe nga bamutwoyiremu abantu bangi abatamu application nga bali kwenda okufuuka ba chairman ba 5. President yaida yatulungamya yakoba tibana abantu mwena temusobola kuba ba chairman ba 5. Aye abantu mujje mukole emirimu egindi ng'okulunda yayogera kulunda embidi okulunda enkoko byonna yabyogera. Nze napikinga mu ky'okulunda enkoko natandika farm mu 2007 n'enkoko 5. Sawa dino wendogerera ku farm kuno tize mabega ntambwire. President yaida yankyalira mu 2010 nga nina enkoko 5,000 yasanuka ino. Sawa dino tutambwire tulina enkoko 1,000 tufulumya amagi etwe 2,000 buli lunaku. Etwe 2,000 divaamu milioni 2 buli lunaku. Omwezi diva milioni 6. Omwaka tuba tuli mu bilioni 6 n'ekitundu etuba tukola ki tuyingiza. So tuwulirisa omulamu gwa president okuva ku kiseera ekyo twakati katukigiireko. President awaire musanufu ino ku bintu byenkoze era nga buli kaseera nkyekingaku. Wendogerera kati tulina abakozi 300 betukozesa wano ku farm tuwezaawo 10. Aye business daife yeditambulira kubanga amagi twagaidulirawo outlet sinning mu Uganda. So yona eri abakozi baife wogaita omugaita betukozesa tuweza abakozi 300. So tulikubiriza abantu abandi kubanga ife twataawo omulamu ogw'okusomesa abantu okuboneka nti bava mu bwavu boona. So tulikubiriza abantu mwide tusobola okwega tweyongere okuboneka nti tukyusa ku Busoga ni Uganda. Nze ndi musanufu okuboneka nti twatandika n'enkoko 5 ate sawa dino nga tuli wano. Twatandika ne plot ya futi 5 ku 10 nga sawa dino tusobola okuwezeka 27 ate nga diri ku n'ebyapa. So nze ndiba kuba nti tunatwala omulamu ogwa President 7 ensi eda kukyuka, abantu baida kukola, abantu mwida kuba bulungi nga buli muntu ayingiza ku sente mu nsawo. Bino ebintu byangu bya kukola. Ababikola boogera olulimi mwogera olusoga ate nga babikolera wano ku itaka lyenyu. So nze ndiko nti tweyunge ku mulamu gwa president ensi edda kukyuka tulobe kulowooza nti ebintu bino tibisoboka aye bisoboka. Pulezidenti ajja okwogera ekintu ng'akibwoine era ife otuwulirisa ebigambo byayogera tukoze emirimu gino wabona nga tutuusa kuki kubulamu. So nze nkoba nti mutukontaktinge ni mu campaign muno Pulezidenti muwa obululu kubanga Pulezidenti alina vision eyokyusa abantu ate nze nabona Pulezidenti ayenda okutoola abantu mu bwavu alina obulumi obw'okuboneka nti abantu be bali mu bwavu aye ayenda okyusa abantu mu bwavu. Bino byonna byakoze bya PDM naki ayenda kutoola abantu mu bwavu. So bana tumweyungeku tusobole okukola ensi eno ekyuke. Mwebale ino ndi Basangwa Johnson wano ku Jaka Poultry Farm e Kamuli.
There are millions of them. When I fly over the cattle corridor and see the nice, well-fenced, bush-cleared farms of the dairy and beef cattle in the previous Irungu wilderness of that zone of our country, I fly over the Masaka-Raka Isembabwe area with the coffee gardens in maybe 60% of the homes. I fly over Kalangara with the palm trees for oil. I fly over the Teso area with the citrus gardens, over Bunduwijo and Mukono areas with the cocoa and coffee gardens, over the Bushenyi Sinjiro areas with the banana gardens, over the Zombo areas with the Arabic coffee, over the Bujus areas with Arabic coffee, etc., etc. You realize that our efforts have not been in vain, and anybody who downplays these achievements is an enemy of Uganda. This is even before you talk about the huge sugarcane plantations in Busoga and Bunyoro, the palm oil plantations in Maruzi, Lango, the sugarcane plantations in the Ruweru and Nakasiki areas, or the Kayunga areas. Have you seen the magnificent tea estates in the Toro, Ankora, and Kijez areas? With the tea, there is the temporary problem of low prices. However, the people in the tea sector have assured me that the price is only affected by the failure to use fertilizers and bad picking methods. All this is just in the commercial agricultural sector. How about manufacturing and services? Have you heard that Uganda has now got more than 50,000 factories, employing over 800,000 people? The services sector has created 6 million jobs, and the hotels now have 150,000 hotel beds. The commercial agricultural sector is now employing 3.8 million people. The IC sector is employing 2.3 million people. These figures have been given to me recently by Finance. There were others which had been given, but they say these are the correct ones. Therefore, the issue of wealth and jobs has solutions for those willing to listen. The issue of free education started well in 1997, and it worked well for some years. A number of children, a total of 20 million children, got free education for primary and secondary schools. Then the local elite came in and started extracting money from the poor families for commercialized education. That has led to the children dropping out of school. You can check district by district the completion rate between the primary and the secondary school bridges and thereafter. This betrayal will be defeated with adequate budgeting for teachers enough in numbers to remove the pretext by the local elite of saying that they are milking money from the poor in order to hire more teachers. I'm providing completely free education at my skilling hubs. Yet my effort is more costly than the UPE USC option that ought to be day schools because they are near the population, unlike my hubs that can only be boarding because of distances. The whole education system will now emphasize the issue of skills, emyoga. The pre-colonial Uganda was of communities of emyoga. Abarisa, cattle keepers, Abahinji, cultivators, Abahesi, blacksmith, Abatanaji, bow and arrow makers, Abanogozi, the clay users, Abaremi, the shoemakers, Abakomaji, the backcloth makers, Abajenji, the surgeons, Abafumu, the healers, Ababunji, the bone setters, etc., etc. Yes, there were administrators, Abami, chiefs, but there were few. Not the colonial and neo-colonial distortion, when the non-wealth creators are in hundreds of thousands, while the wealth creators are not as numerous as they need to be. It is therefore correct that the education system goes back to the strategy of modernized emyoga. Part of the health strategy, although partially implemented, has worked very well. This is the strategy of prevention through immunization, hygiene, good lifestyle, nutrition, safe water, etc. Although it is only immunization and safe water that have really been worked on, it has improved the average life expectancy from 43 years to 68 years. However, there is the problem of curative that is still outstanding. That problem is tied up with the problem of obtafayo, not bothering with the important things. It is tied up with the issue of corruption. I happen to have been here in the times of the British, the time of independence, and after. In all that time, I saw the corruption of the public servants. That is the chiefs, the veterinary personnel, the medical personnel, the school teachers, etc. When we were in the bush, I told the NRM leadership that we could not trust the public servants to serve our people honestly. I therefore proposed that we add our own structures elected by the people to supervise the interests of the people. You have that power to elect the LC1s, LC2s, LC3s, LC5s, members of parliament, councillors, etc. These are the ones to report corruption and other misconduct in the area, especially the ones being paid by the state. Those are the LC3 chairperson, the member of parliament, and the LC5 chairperson and other officials. What has happened is corruption, land grabbing, etc., happening in Congo or Uganda. If it is happening in a locality in Uganda, where there is a galaxy of all those elected and paid leaders, why do they not expose the problem? Yes, the government has another galaxy of actors, accountants, auditors, etc. We shall continue trying to bring them to Jesus Christ and Muhammad for salvation, to save them from corruption, and also axe the incorrigible ones. However, when my strategy of the LC system works, it will be a game changer. Recently, near Mpigi Town, I engaged some Zuku there that were talking about corruption. I told them to elect serious leaders, serious people that guard their interests, the interests of the people. That was why the LC system was designed. Finally, on the issue of political competition and law and order, politics is not about the livelihood of leaders. To solve the problem of jobs for some people. It is about the destiny of peoples. That destiny is guided by principles that arise from the analysis and the determination of how the respective societies can be safe and prosperous. In the case of Uganda, in the 1960s, our student movement disagreed with the sectarian politics of that time of religion and tribe. We eventually distilled our principles of love, Uganda, patriotism. Why? It is because you need it for your prosperity. If you are a wealth creator and not a parasite, you need Uganda as a market for your products. Banyankole do not buy my milk. They do not buy my beef or buy my bananas because they are producing similar products. It is the people of Kampala that buy my products. I also buy the products from other parts of Uganda. Sugar from Busoga, Buganda and Bunyoro, vegetable oil from Karangara, textiles from Buganda, etc. The second principle is that we should love Africa, Pan-Africanism. Why? It is because the internal market of Uganda is not enough. However, we cannot benefit from these two markets unless we undergo socio-economic transformation by migrating from Okore Echida Kyonka to working for Echida, the stomach, and Ensawo, the pocket, with Echibaro, Chura, Aymar, Otita, the calculation for profit. Then the fourth principle is democracy. It is people that believe in these principles, which is the only way to prosperity, that I associate with politically. It is unprincipled for one to fight somebody that fights these principles. Instead, you should discuss among those who believe in these principles to determine who should represent us here or there according to the suitability. The moment you see political positions as a means of living, you then become a problem for your country. Since 1971, we left well-paying jobs to fight Idi Amin. Why? It is because we were sure that he would block our vision of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. Previously, we had been massaging Obote because there was a possibility that he could move with us on Pan-Africanism. For example, the East African Federation. Therefore, the political actors should stop the pseudo-politics of me, because it is not only barren, but very destructive for countries. On the issue of law and order, you have been seeing the indiscipline and anarchic conduct of some of the opposition, guided by the wrong politics in their heads and prompted by parasitic foreigners that back them. They make many mistakes. These include transporting audiences to create the image of big crowds at the venues. Those arrested following Mr. Kyagulanyi at Mile 4 in Mbarara confessed that they had a fleet of possibly 200 vehicles transporting those nomadic audiences. You then have the Kyagulanyi schemes of causing chaos in the country on behalf of the foreigners that fund them and back them. Mr. Kyagulanyi and his evil foreigners that back him fail to understand that Uganda is a land of spiritual and political matters. The spiritual matters like Karol Rwanga, etc., the political matters like Rutamaguzi are very good examples for the present generations. Many Ugandans, especially those that have been with the opposition, get flabbergasted by those schemes and link up with us and peacefully dissolve those schemes. Do you remember Taja Kulaira? Do you remember Gen Z plan for the 4th of July, 2024, for the riots like those of Kenya, etc.? Do you remember those? They were rejected by the people. Have you noticed the number of NUP flag bearers for parliament that are pulling out? The criminal opposition must also stop intimidating Ugandans. You have no right to intimidate a Ugandan. Therefore, Ugandans, come out and vote. Nobody would intimidate you or endanger your security. Anybody who tries will have himself to blame and will end up badly. The future of Uganda is bright. Our first oil will come out next year. Regarding the police methods, I reject the practice of caning lawbreakers. Some police forces in the world do it, using batons. I, however, reject it. It must stop. Teachers and parents used to cane us, but it was a wrong method. However, using tear gas for rioters is both legal and non-lethal. Doesn't kill. It is much better than using live bullets. However, the police should be more methodical if they are to use tear gas or water cannons or other non-lethal techniques by, for instance, requesting in time the bystanders to move away before using tear gas and other anti-riot non-lethal methods against the rioters. The police should use loudspeakers to warn people and give people time to pull away. I have been busy campaigning and have not been following the antics of the opposition actors. I have, however, heard that the mobile audiences of Mr. Kyagulanyi have been looting people in some cases. I last heard of the attacks on people I talked to myself in Abim, Karamoja. These ones I talked to myself, who were attacked by the gangs of Mr. Kyagulanyi. Uganda is secure. Go out and vote. Uganda and NRM are unstoppable. Happy 2026 and beyond. Thank you.